My husband died on our wedding night. The music had barely faded, the last guest still lingering near the ballroom doors, when everything fell apart. One moment, Daniel was laughing, his hand warm in mine. The next, he collapsed, silent, lifeless, before we could even begin our life together. By morning, I was no longer a bride. I was a widow. His family surrounded me with tearful faces and whispered condolences, but beneath their grief lay something colder. His mother clasped my hands and said softly, "Daniel was drowning in debt. He didn't want you to know. We'll take care of everything, but we need your help." I was 23, devastated and desperate to honor the man I had just lost. So I agreed. My name is Elena Whitmore, and every month for the next 5 years, I sent them $500, without question, without hesitation. I believed I was protecting Daniel's memory, paying off the burdens he had silently carried. They thanked me each time. They called me family. They called me devoted, but they never showed me proof. 5 years passed in quiet sacrifice, until one autumn afternoon, as I waited in line at a coffee shop, a stranger stepped beside me. He leaned close, his voice low and urgent. "Stop sending money," he whispered. I froze. "Check the camera." Before I could speak, he was gone. That night, trembling with uncertainty, I unlocked my front door earlier than usual, and the moment I stepped inside, I realized my husband's death was only the beginning. The stranger's words echoed in my mind all the way home. "Stop sending money. Check the camera." My hands trembled as I unlocked the door. The house was quiet. Too quiet. A faint glow flickered from the living room, and I froze at the threshold, my heart pounding in my ears. I hadn't left the television on. Slowly, I stepped inside. That's when I noticed it, the small red light blinking above the bookshelf. Aki cha, ani, nati, a camera. Hidden in plain sight, my breath caught. I had installed the security system years ago, after Daniel's death, hoping it would bring me peace. I had never once reviewed the recordings. There had been no reason to, until now. With unsteady fingers, I opened the security app on my phone. The footage loaded slowly, each second stretching into an eternity. I scrolled back through the archive. Days, weeks, months, until something unfamiliar caught my eye. 2 weeks earlier, the timestamp showed a quiet afternoon. The front door opened, and Daniel's mother stepped inside, using a key I didn't know she had. Moments later, his brother followed her, laughing as he carried a small box. I watched in stunned silence as they moved through my home like it belonged to them. Then I heard it. "We should keep this quiet," his mother said. His brother smirked. "Of course. As long as she keeps sending the money." My stomach dropped. But what they said next made my blood run cold. "She still believes Daniel is gone," she whispered. And in that moment, I realized the truth was far worse than grief. My hands trembled as I replayed the footage. "She still believes Daniel is gone." The words echoed through the silent room, hollow and terrifying. I stared at the screen, willing myself to breathe, to think, to understand what I had just heard. Gone. Believes. Not dead. A chill crawled up my spine. I rewound the recording and listened again, every syllable sharper this time. Daniel's mother moved calmly through my home, her voice cold, composed, utterly devoid of grief. "As long as she keeps sending the money, we're safe," she said. His brother laughed. "You should have seen her at the funeral. She never questioned a thing." Stomach twisted. The funeral. The closed casket, the rushed ceremony arranged entirely by his family. I remembered standing there in black, numb with shock, barely able to see through my tears. I had trusted them to handle everything. I had trusted him. But now, doubt seeped into every memory. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at my kitchen table until dawn, replaying the footage again and again, searching for proof, something undeniable, something real. And then I saw it. At the end of the recording, Daniel's mother placed the small box on my desk. His brother opened it, revealing a stack of envelopes, each labeled with my name and the amount I had sent. $500 every month for 5 years. His brother smirked. "She's been more useful to us dead than he ever was alive." I felt the air leave my lungs. Dead? No, not dead. Because deep down, beneath the fear and disbelief, a terrifying truth began to surface. If Daniel wasn't dead, then where was he? I didn't sleep that night. The footage replayed endlessly in my mind. Every word, every smirk, every lie. By morning, grief had hardened into something sharper. Clarity. If Daniel wasn't dead, then someone had staged his death. and his family had been living off my devotion ever since. I spent the next few days quietly gathering evidence. I saved every recording, every bank transfer, every message they had ever sent me. I spoke to no one. Not yet. Then I went back to the cemetery. The air was cold, the sky gray, and the wind rustled through the rows of headstones like whispered secrets. I stood before Daniel's grave, staring at the marble inscription that had defined my life for 5 years. Daniel Whitmore. Kinsain der sai ni, mainal sai mai. Beloved son and husband. My hands trembled as I knelt and brushed away fallen leaves. The soil was untouched. No settling. No signs of disturbance, and when I pressed my palm against the earth, Nama, it felt impossibly firm, as if nothing had ever been buried there at all. A chill swept through me. The closed casket, the rushed funeral, the way his family had insisted on handling everything themselves. I stepped back slowly, my heart pounding. Daniel Whitmore wasn't in that grave. That evening, I returned home and opened the security footage again, determined to uncover the truth. I scanned through hours of recordings until something new appeared. A recent entry. The front door opened quietly. A man stepped inside. He wore a cap pulled low over his face, his posture familiar, his movements unmistakable. He paused in the hallway, glancing toward the camera, and when he lifted his head, I stopped breathing. It was Daniel. My heart slammed against my ribs as the footage froze on his face. Daniel. Alive. 5 years of grief shattered in a single silent frame. I replayed the recording again and again, desperate to prove my eyes were deceiving me. But the truth refused to blur. The tilt of his head, the familiar scar near his temple, the way he moved through the hallway like he had never left, it was unmistakably him. He hadn't died. He had disappeared. And his family had helped him do it. My hands trembled as I watched him step into my living room. He paused, glancing around with quiet familiarity, as though the life we once shared still belonged to him. Then he spoke, his voice low but clear enough for the camera to capture. Is she still sending the money? His mother's voice followed from the doorway. Every month. She still believes you're gone. Daniel smirked. Good, he said. Let's keep it that way. The sound of his voice, the man I had loved, the man I had mourned, cut deeper than any betrayal. Tears blurred my vision, but they did not fall. Grief had once ruled me. Now, it was something else. Resolve. I saved the footage, locking it in multiple secure backups. Then I opened my banking records, reviewing every transfer, every sacrifice I had made in his name. $500 every month. Not devotion, not loyalty, fraud. I stared at his frozen image on the screen, my voice barely above a whisper. You didn't die on our wedding night, Daniel. My reflection stared back at me, steady, unbroken, and unafraid. But the woman you betrayed did. And in her place, someone far stronger had risen. The moment I saw Daniel's face on that screen, something inside me shifted. Grief vanished. In its place, precision. I didn't confront him. I didn't call his family. Instead, I did what they never expected. I planned. Shouti in ki shout. Within days, I contacted a discreet attorney and a private investigator, presenting them with the footage, the financial records, and every document tied to Daniel's staged death. They listened in stunned silence as the truth unfolded. Insurance fraud, the investigator said quietly. Wire fraud, my attorney added. And conspiracy, I finished. For 5 years, they had lived comfortably on my money, and as I soon discovered, on a substantial life insurance payout issued after Daniel's death. The pieces fit together with chilling clarity, but I wanted more than justice. I wanted certainty, so I did what they believed I would never do. I kept sending the money. Every month, $500, on time, without fail. Meanwhile, my attorney coordinated with federal investigators, documenting every transaction, every visit, every word captured by the hidden cameras in my home. The evidence grew stronger with each passing week, forming a case too airtight to escape. Then, one afternoon, Daniel's mother called. Elena, she said sweetly, it's been 5 years. We're holding a memorial dinner for Daniel. You should come. You're still family. Wasai na stamaki no. I smiled slowly, my voice calm and gracious. Of course, I replied. I wouldn't miss it. After I hung up, I glanced at the frozen image of Daniel on my screen. They believed they were inviting a grieving widow. They had no idea. They had just invited their downfall. The memorial dinner was held in a grand private hall, adorned with white lilies and soft candlelight, an elaborate tribute to a man who had never died. I arrived precisely on time. Dressed in black silk, I walked through the doors with quiet composure, every step measured, every breath steady. Conversations softened as I entered. Daniel's family greeted me with rehearsed sympathy, their smiles brittle beneath the weight of secrets. "Elena," his mother said warmly, embracing me. "It means so much that you came." "I wouldn't have missed it," I replied. My gaze swept across the room. Then I saw him. Daniel stood near the back, partially hidden in the shadows, dressed in a dark suit. His posture stiffened when our eyes met. Shock flashed across his face, followed quickly by fear. He hadn't expected me to know. He hadn't expected me to come prepared. I lifted my glass calmly. "To Daniel Whitmore," I said, my voice clear and steady. "A husband mourned, and a man reborn." A ripple of uneasy laughter moved through the guests. Daniel's mother's smile faltered. "Elena, what do you mean?" Instead of answering, I nodded subtly toward the entrance. The doors opened. Federal agents stepped inside, their badges gleaming beneath the chandeliers. Silence fell like a sudden storm as murmurs swept through the hall. Daniel's face drained of color. "This memorial," I continued softly, "felt like the perfect place for a reunion." The lead agent approached him. "Daniel Whitmore, you are under arrest for insurance fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy." Gasps echoed through the room. Daniel stared at me in disbelief. "Elena, how could you?" I met his gaze, calm and unwavering. "You died on our wedding night," I said quietly. "And tonight, so did your lies." The silence in the hall was suffocating as the agents led Daniel away. His mother gasped, clutching her pearls, while his brother's bravado crumbled into stunned disbelief. Guests whispered in hushed voices, the illusion of mourning shattered beyond repair. "Elena, please," Daniel's mother cried, reaching for me. I stepped back calmly. "For 5 years," I said, my voice steady, "you took my grief and turned it into your income. You stole my trust, my love, and my dignity. Tonight, I simply returned the truth to where it belongs." Her hand fell, trembling. Daniel paused as the agents escorted him toward the doors. He looked back at me, desperation clouding his eyes. "I never meant to hurt you," he said hoarsely. I met his gaze without emotion. "You already did," I replied. The doors closed behind him with a quiet finality, sealing the end of a lie that had defined my life. In the weeks that followed, the investigation uncovered everything: insurance fraud, conspiracy, and years of deception. Every dollar I had sent was documented and returned, along with the life insurance payout they had stolen. Justice was not loud or triumphant. It was quiet, certain, complete. Months later, I stood alone at the ocean's edge, the wind tangling my hair as waves whispered against the shore. I no longer wore black. I no longer mourned. Daniel had died once in deception, but I had risen in truth. And this time, I was not a widow defined by loss. So, wai ki na chi. I was a woman defined by strength.